welcome to Yin Yoga with Rita. Thanks for joining today. Before we begin, see if you can gather maybe some blankets or a rolled up towel or a pillow, maybe a cushion from the couch, anything that makes sense, a little softness that you might be able to use to support the body in some of the poses to make you more comfortable and allow the muscular energy in the body to relax. So no worries if you've never done Yin Yoga, I'll guide you through the process. You just have to be open-minded and allow the body to become still and see where it takes you. So the adventures are endless with Yin Yoga. So to begin, we will establish a very calm place for our nervous system and our breath by beginning laying on our mat. I'm going to go ahead and use a rolled up towel underneath my knees. And I have a blanket that I'll support the back of my head. And I'll just let my hands, my arms relax. Make those small adjustments, getting the hips centered into the earth and the shoulders start to relax. And let your eyes close. And just notice the breath. Not making it do any particular movements just yet. Just notice it. And notice what you're feeling in your body. It's really nice to start a practice, taking note, checking in on the sensations of the body, even before we begin. Yoga should never be painful. Yoga is more about increasing the movement of energy in the body, increasing our strength and balance and our mindfulness. So notice if you start to feel anything that is too deep, too much sensation, and please take care of your own body, knowing where your body starts today's practice. And now start to breathe in and out through the nose. Just letting the breath gently become a little deeper, a little wider. Letting the lips just gently close and rest one lip on top of the other. And slowing down. The hardest thing about Yin is allowing the body to become still and not trying to force or yank. It's more about releasing, becoming soft and allowing, and ultimately becoming still. It is in stillness that we learn the most about our body and our mind. Start breathing in and out till you start to feel the shoulders and the hips and the legs take on a new level of softness. We're trying to trigger that relaxation response, taking us out of that fear, or fight, or flight, or anxious, sympathetic nervous system. When we're so used to being in that we don't actually recognize that we're in it until we come out and we enter this rest and digest, relaxation. I'll guide you through our first pose. I'll begin with just adjusting so you can come flat on the mat. I'm going to remove the rolled up towel and take just a nice good morning stretch, extending through the fingertips. You might feel your shoulder crack or just move into place. And then gently start to walk the shoulder blades a little bit to the right, kind of pressing into the mat to get that little bit of movement of the shoulders. And then slowly sliding or walking both heels toward the right. And just pause there for a moment. Feeling the sensation along the left side of the body. Remember, don't go too deep. We'll be here about 2 minutes. We just want to be at that nice initial sensation in the body. I'll start the timer now. If you've put any props underneath, you can stack them underneath the legs. You can always put something of a weight. You like it on your hip or maybe even on your shoulder. And if you feel any tingling in the fingertips, just bring the elbows kind of down, making goalpost arms, or you can even bring that left hand toward the rib cage. So we'll begin the 2 minutes now. Let the eyes close and just really let the body start to open. You want to take that right heel and bring it over on top of the left foot, just to lock down that full stretch. With your eyes closed, just feel the length all the way along the left outer side of the leg. Letting the breath work into that IT band. Within a little bit of the hip flexor. Maybe a little compression on the right side of the body. Starting to massage those organs. Yin works deeper in the body. It works at the tissue level. It works at the organ level. It works at this really interesting level of energy in the body. And it complements all the active things in our life. This makes us whole, the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang. Just let that left shoulder melt toward the earth. Let the neck feel released. The stretch isn't intended for the neck per se. So just make sure you're not binding in the neck, holding your breath in the neck. And again, if you feel any tinglings in the fingertips, you can always lower the elbow of that left arm or right arm. And just pause there. So coming out of a yin pose is equally as important as getting into the pose. We take that mindfulness, that very conscious effort of coming out, noticing our body and taking care of our body. So first remove the bind of the ankles. Start to walk the heels back towards center. And then walking the shoulder blades back onto more of a straight, natural position. And then take the arms out to the side. Relax the neck and just pause for a moment. Notice the left side of the body. See if you can feel any vibrations, any movement. So we're working into the spine, that lateral movement of the spine. It can sneak up on us. So again, as we work through the yin poses, we're working into the deeper levels of the body, trying to slow down that biological clock, trying to work into the areas where we might have some tightness and some atrophy. Start to gently release some of those areas. Again, take that long good morning stretch. And then slowly start to slide the shoulder blades toward the left. And then slowly walking the heels toward the left. This time opening all the way along the right side of the body. You can take the arms overhead. You can lock down that right side of the body, bringing that left heel over the right side. You can bring the blanket, if it feels good, under the arms. And just settling in. If you have any sandbag or maybe a bag of rice or beans, you can lay it right on that left or on that right hip or on the right shoulder. Sometimes we need a little support under the shoulder. You can use the blanket. Just move it under that right shoulder. If there's too much of a gap, it might feel like the body wants to tense versus release. So now settling in that 2-minute beautiful stretch in the body. Letting the eyes close and the neck become very soft and neutral. And letting the breath run all the way from the heel of the right foot. You can almost feel the breath going slowly, releasing little bits and pieces of tension that have built up over time, built up through activity. And activity is good for the body. Movement, as they say, motion is the lotion of life. So when we become too still, we start to have this sluggish kind of stickiness in the body. So yin is trying to release some of those areas that may not have happened yesterday or the day before, but could have happened a year ago, could have happened from a prior injury. So just gently breathing all the way up the full right side of the body, letting the spine just gently work into that lateral motion. And feeling the stretch all the way through the right armpit, maybe the right tricep. Just gently moving in. You'll start to feel potentially your digestive system start to move around with these longer held poses. I know I can hear my stomach growl from time to time. I tend to do yoga slightly hungry, just so I allow a little bit more movement in the body. I'm not feeling as full, and it just creates a little bit more space to begin with. But with yin, you can do this after you've had a meal, not a super heavy meal, but a meal. So now gently, the time goes by so fast. You can always stay a few breaths longer, and your body is inviting you to stay. And at any time you feel your body inviting you to come out of a pose, listen to your body. Don't fight it. Don't ignore those warning signs. They're there to guide you and take care of your body, your one and only body. Now gently just letting the toes kind of flare out, and again coming back to that very restful, neutral spine. A neutral spine has curves in it. It's not flat. So you'll feel that little space under the lumbar spine and under the cervical spine where the curve is concave. And then you'll feel the thoracic spine and the sacrum on the earth. You might feel the body get a little chilly. So if you have a little heater, or you want to put socks on or another layer, in yin the body is pretty calm, so you're not creating a lot of heat. Our next pose, we're going to slide that right sole of the foot somewhere on the inside of that left leg. I'm going to use this blanket to support my right knee. Finding that sensation, you might need to adjust the foot higher or lower on that inside edge of that left leg. So you can feel that sensation maybe as the hips start to flatten toward the earth. I know the stronger my left hip is toward the earth, the more I can feel that sensation on the inside of that right leg. So we're looking for that intention, which is the inner part of the right leg. And just above the knee, you might feel a nice little stretch. I'm going to set the timer. Find your comfort spot, letting the shoulders relax. And just let the body start to open. If you want a little more, if you're not feeling it, you can take the ankle up on top of the left thigh and let it relax toward the earth. And see how that feels. If you start to cramp or feel too strong of a sensation, go backwards, kind of undo those dials that you may have adjusted to find the sensation. Another intensifier is to take that left knee and just bend, kind of sliding into what we'll call a reclined square, reclined seat. And for me, this is a good, kind of appropriate sensation. But no, these dials are all individual, very personal. Again, looking for that sensation in the inside edge of that right leg. Not too strong of a sensation in the lower back. So be mindful if you're feeling any tugging there. Maybe prop up the knee or undo that left leg if it's too much. And just patient. Let the body just gently start to open. I chose 2 minutes today. It's right at the threshold for some of the bigger muscles where this fascia, these fascial bags and connective tissue are pretty prevalent and big and strong. So that 2 minutes starts to release, just so you can get a taste of it today. So now gently, I recommend that we bring both soles of the feet to the earth and just pause there. Bring hands onto the belly. Release the shoulders and the upper back. And just pause for a moment. I hear my belly. I tend to hear it more when I lay on my back. There's more space, I think, for the movement inside the body, these trillions of cells that we're activating, maybe not all of them at the same time, but we're activating some, and it's a little bit like a pinball machine. You start to activate one and then it bounces off another, and before you know it, you have this party going on inside the body. And that's good. It's good to kind of break up that stiffness and that jello formation in the body. Let it break down and become more like flowing water. So in planning for the other side, take note of how your body feels just after doing the first lateral movement of the spine and the first kind of hip opener, inside thigh opener. So I'm going to move my prop onto the other side. Hopefully it doesn't block too much the camera. And then extending that right leg long and then opening through that left hip, finding a place for that left sole of the foot on the inside of the right leg. I'm going to pause there and just see how it feels. I'm going to try bringing that left ankle up on the right thigh. See how that feels. Remember, you can always stay in version 1. And for me, I think I'm going to drop my foot back down into the center and then just tuck that right heel toward that left shin, kind of that reclining square, reclining seat. So hopefully you have found your appropriate sensation. Remember that Goldilocks philosophy, not too hot, not too cold, not too light, not too dark, just enough. So I'll start the timer now and see if you can come to complete stillness. Letting the backs of the palms rest on the earth. Letting the shoulders open. And just letting that sensation, the inside edge of the left leg start to release. And we're working up to, today we're going to do a little hamstring. And I haven't quite decided, but I'm feeling frog. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there. Now see if you can let the breath move all the way through that left leg. Kind of hovering at that inside edge of that left thigh. And notice what you're feeling in your abdominal area, letting the abdominal muscles relax. And see if you can relax the quads. Just letting the body open naturally, not tugging or pulling like we may have done in our track team in high school. I do remember that vividly. Pulling and pulling. I'm not sure my body retained any of that opening like it does now with yin. There's a more sustaining opening when you work at the tissue level versus the muscle level. So let the muscles relax. Didn't that go by fast? So now gently, I'm going to first, for me, I'm going to bring that right sole of the foot to the earth, and then gently bring the left sole of the foot to the earth, kind of adjusting the spine. I'm going to let my lumbar spine touch down. A slight, very, very subtle, slight tilt of the hips. Just make a few of those little pelvic clocks, moving between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. The navel pulls in, adjust the blanket back here, and just take a few very small kind of massages of that lumbar spine. Make little circles too. Think of it as an analog clock if you know what that is. And just moving, tilting this way and then this way. And then the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock. And then do maybe some full pelvic circles. Feeling the lumbar spine, releasing parts of the body. And now just letting the knees fall to one side. I'm going to come up to table. Now take a little bit bigger movements of the spine. Inhales, letting the gaze tip up and the belly tip down. The hips tip up. And exhale, taking a smaller cat than typical. And again, inhale, letting the belly release toward the mat. And exhale, rounding through that lumbar spine. stretching through the back of the shoulders. We're going to come to a shoulder opener. We might have to cut the video after that. So we'll start with bringing that left palm a little more center underneath your nose. And then inhale, twist and open the right just enough so that you can get that movement. I'm actually going to spin around. You can see me. The right arm went up and then I let it come down. I'm going to adjust so I bring the side of my face. And for me, I just like to actually I'm going to bring my arm out in front. And so I'm letting the body just gently, the weight is shifted a little bit to the right. Find that spot that's comfortable for the neck. I'm just going to peek up for a moment and start the timer. And come back down in. So let that left hand, you can either walk it forward, you can just bend at the elbow and let the forearm rest on the earth. Trying to make it as yin-like as possible. And letting the back of the shoulder, that right shoulder, start to open. If the body invites you to walk the right fingertips a little further away from the body, feel free to do that. And just breathe in and out through the nose, but not trying to create an activity. Just let the breath be natural. Adjusting the neck so you're trying to find that sweet spot where the neck isn't in a weird spot. And that you can focus all your attention into that right shoulder. Working across the upper back. Let the fingertips, the right fingertips, feel soft. Now very slowly, start to press through that left hand. Come back out if you want to take one more opening of that right shoulder. And then slowly, just walking the hands, keeping the hips kind of high for this. Just letting the forehead come down to the earth. With the hips high, you're getting a nice little stretch through the back. And then gently coming back up to cat. We're going to stop the video here and call this part 1. And then we'll start up right where we left off. So just take this moment, make any adjustments in your room. I know my room's getting a little cold, so I'm going to make it a little warmer. And I'll meet you right back here.